Today's episode, meal prep and recipes. Um, I guess a lot of you guys are probably just, overwhelmed with all the information that's out there on the internet. It's part of the reason we started these webcasts in the first place. A lot of people kind of know, hey, I should be eating, low carbs, or I should be eating a lot of protein if I want to build mass. If I'm trying to lose weight, avoid sugars. But the thing is, most people don't know how much they should eat of what and when. You can eat way too much asparagus, potatoes, and steak and still get fat. So not only that, I mean, even if you stick to the meat and potatoes, as we call it, which is like man food, guys, we don't really mind keeping a more bland diet at times, is what I've noticed from my personal experience. So over the course of so many weeks, though, it starts to get a little boring to you, and that's where some of the ideas, this is where Nicole is very good. Justin, I've seen you post some pretty cool stuff with, the French toast and different ideas just to spice things up a little bit where you don't get too sick of it and help keep you on track and consistent. So we'll go ahead and share my screen here and dive on into the meal prep and recipe slideshow.
Too bad, guys. There's only one food. Where do you go? They're all gone. It's the only one.
Episode 2, week 2, recipes for prep. I know a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking, what the F are macros, man? I mean, I hear this term, this flexible dieting, this if it fits your macros. Well, in a nutshell, macros are the nutrients that you consume through whole food. Basically, your fats, carbohydrates, your proteins. Most of you are, by this point, are more than aware that, carbohydrates, 4 calories of energy, protein is 4 calories, fat is 9. I'm going to throw one more out there a lot of people don't know about. You guys might not even know this. Nicole, Justin, if you know, chime in. Does anyone know what the 4th type of macro would be? Your fats, carbs, protein, 4th one. Not very talked about. No, calories is the energy equivalent.
Is it your fiber?
Nope. This is one most people won't get. Nope. I'll give you a clue. It's normally in liquid form.
Water.
Fish oil.
Wisconsin. What is Wisconsin known for?
Cheese. Dairy.
That's one of the things. What's Kenosha known for? Alcohol. A lot of people don't realize that's one of them. Does anyone know what alcohol burns at? So we got our 4 and our 9 for the other macros. I just throw it out there. It burns at around 7 calories. So that's just an interesting fact I figured I'd share with you. I actually learned that myself earlier this year.
I have no idea.
All right, so Nicole, I'll go ahead and kind of introduce this slide, and then I'm going to let you take over, and we'll go through your list, and I'll just kind of go through the slideshow as you speak. So we're going to basically highlight, a few recipes that Nicole and I are pretty fond of. She does most of the cooking, so I'll let her do most of the talking. We do different things, we try to incorporate some of the main ingredients, such as the proteins like the turkeys, chickens, and so on from malnutrition. If we're making something you've got a sweet tooth, we might use a flavored protein, whether it be our first form. The level 1 is great for cooking because it's a compound protein. The Quest Nutrition powders are very good for cooking. So different things like that. We're going to try and keep this short and sweet for you guys so everyone can get on with their Monday night. So Nicole, if you want to read through this list real quick, and then we'll go to the next slide.
I'm just showing like all the slides right now. So which slide are we on?
You are on slide 2, Nicole's Fave 5.
Okay, so I like to keep meal prep very short and effective and easy. All my recipes will take you 10 minutes or less, more around the 5 to 7 minute range. So a main entree I like, and this I'll normally eat either before I work out or during the day, is my lean barbecue turkey taco. Very delicious. I have my ice cream protein pancakes. I actually This is a recipe that I've made probably about 20 different variations of this. So the one that I'll further discuss is actually my blueberry one. And then we have the first form pizza crust. I know a lot of you guys have cravings for pizza, so there is a healthy option to eat that. And we have the pumpkin spice protein pancakes, and then the turkey lettuce wrap. Obviously, on a low-carb day, this would be a great option, but you're still able to have some sort of wrap of some choice.
Right. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. And guys, as we're talking, you can go back on our home site at fitforeachotheronline.com/blog to find a lot of these recipes. We post at least 2 to 3 of these a week. We can email Nicole directly at nicole1987@gmail.com. Yeah, so we were just finishing up the lean barbecue one. Let me do this manually. So we went through the ingredients. Nicole, if you want to just real quickly give them what you would normally do as far as directions on that one.
Okay, so ingredients, I'm personally a female, so as a male you're going to want to increase the amounts, but I have 3 ounces of turkey, which is already pre-cooked. It's in my freezer, so I'll take that out. 1 Ezekiel sprouted tortilla, some Flavor Got honey barbecue seasoning, a tablespoon of sugar-free ketchup, about 1/3 cup of romaine lettuce. I'll dice about 1/4 slice of diced onions and about 2 small baby sweet peppers that I'll dice. So what I'll do is I will microwave. I'll actually just take the turkey in the plastic, and if it's frozen, I'll put it in the microwave about 2 minutes. If it's thawed out, I'll put it in the microwave for about 1 minute. Take it out. I'll slice it up and dice it. Then I'll take the Ezekiel tortilla and I will heat it up in the microwave about 10 seconds. I'll spread the veggies on, the romaine lettuce, the baby peppers, the onions. I'll put the turkey on top, and then I will lightly just put a couple of dashes of sprinkles of the honey barbecue seasoning, and I'll put some salsa on. If you want to add extra fat to it, you can also take some guacamole, avocado. I personally like the Holy guacamole packets because they're easy and convenient. The macros on this specific recipe is the calories are 240 calories, protein 26 grams, carbs are 19 grams of net carbs, and fat is 5 grams. So it's quick, it's easy, delicious. Prep time is about 5 minutes or less.
All right, let's go on. We're just going to blow through these guys, so don't worry if you miss anything. We'll recap this in the follow-up email. If there's anything specific that you'd like us to throw in that recap email, just let me know. Let's go on to the protein pancake slide, since I'm not cool enough to play a slideshow, apparently. We'll just kind of run down it again. So we actually have some nice videos. See if we can get those to play. Might be a little bit of a lag. All right, so Nicole, why don't you do this one, and then I'll run them through the pizza one.
Okay, sounds great. So these I actually have almost every single morning during prep, unless I'm waking up late. These are my go-to first form protein pancakes. As I said, I make them there's about probably 10 to 20 variations of this, but this particular recipe I use 1 scoop of first form level 1 ice cream, which is my favorite protein in the entire world. I do 30 grams of my oatmeal cookie oats, or you could use, your whole grain oats. 1/4 cup of blueberries, 1/4 cup of strawberry mussel egg or egg whites, 2 sprays of Crisco olive oil spray because I'm trying to keep my fats low at this meal, and about 1/4 cup of sugar-free syrup, which is optional. Some people like Andre don't like syrup. Directions are pretty easy. What I personally do is during the beginning of the week, I'll take my oats and I'll put it in a blender, and I'll blend it down to a flour, and I'll have like a big container of it. That way it cuts down prep time. But if you don't do that, what you do is you just take the oats, you put in a blender, and you grind it down it takes about 10 to 30 seconds until it blends down into a flour. So I will take the oats and the protein, the ice cream protein, egg whites, and I'll add a little bit of water, and I'll stir it together with a fork and whisk it until it becomes a more pancakey consistency. You want to heat your griddle on about high, medium, high. I spray it with Crisco olive oil spray so those don't stick to the pan. And I add my batter to the pan. This particular recipe makes about 2 medium-sized pancakes. Once it bubbles, you're going to flip it over, add it to the pan. While those are cooling, I take my blueberries, my 4th cup of blueberries, and I'll put them in the microwave for 30 seconds. I'll drizzle that on top of the pancakes, add my sugar-free syrup, and you are good to go for breakfast. It's with the First Form, it's a slow assimilating protein, so it'll get you through the day, making sure you're not anabolic and you're burning all fat and not muscle.
All right. Let's go down to the protein pizza crust, but I want you guys to try something for me too. I know on certain browsers, if you don't expand the window completely, that'll also screw up a slideshow. Just to make sure you're not having any of those issues, go ahead and expand your browsers all the way. All right. Try it one more time. If this doesn't work, then we'll just keep doing it this way. So you guys still aren't seeing the slideshow version, right?
I'm as big as I can get my screen.
Yeah, you would just hit maximize, the maximize button.
Yeah,
Okay. That's all right. Then we're just running into some kind of glitch. We'll work past it. So the next slide we'll deal with is pretty cool recipe. It's actually off of the First Form blog, which you guys can check out at firstform.com/blog. Very similar to a lot of the things you'll see on our personal blog. The idea with this is basically taking some of the level 1 powder and mixing it with some of the other ingredients. I'm not going to read through them all. You guys can read. I think you guys can all read, right? So we'll go ahead and take a moment, look at the ingredients. We press these all into a crust and bake it, and then there's no magic here. I mean, again, it's pizza crust. It's just getting the pCals high, so the macros are something that you would actually enjoy. This is one that I would probably say save this more for an off-season type of healthy maintenance diet versus you're in that final 8-week phase of your contest prep. Just because I prefer to stick to whole foods. Once you get this crust made up, what's pretty cool is you can actually take something simple, quick and simple, like the maw chicken breast. Nicole actually introduced me to the G. Hughes Smokehouse sugar-free barbecue sauce. You can get this at any Walmart. And then optional, you can add a cup of fat-free mozzarella cheese. So these are all things that you can do real quickly. That would be like barbecue chicken pizza, with really good macros. All right, let's run through the next slide. So that's enough about recipes. We can go on all day with that stuff, but one of the keys that I want to talk about real quick is the 8 key steps to sticking with the diet. Starting out as a personal trainer for quite a few years, one of the biggest things I always saw with clients was they would give up after 2 to 3 months tops if they didn't really want to eat the food that they were eating. So those recipes will help get your results because they keep it interesting for you. But number 1, consistency is always going to give you the best results. 2 is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. That's why being part of a team, similar to the one we coach here, like Team F4E. I mean, you ask anyone on this team, Justin, this is your first show. What has it been like? What's the experience been like having the support of the team?
It's definitely been nice. I just moved to Wausau, Wisconsin, just to finish up school. So down in Milwaukee, I had a lot of like-minded friends that I would stick to my diet very easily with them. No Friday night, Saturday night going out. We'd just be eating chicken and rice and after a workout. But having a team to be able to contact myself with while being up here, where fitness is not as prevalent, I would say, it's been nice. I work in a restaurant, and it is hard to stay on prep and to stay dedicated with it. But having a team is definitely nice to have someone contact, keep you dedicated, I guess I'd say, to the diet. It's a lot of support.
Yeah, I think it's, just you form habits and you start to conform to, and it's just human nature. You conform to the people that are around you, so it's good to be around like-minded people.
Right.
It becomes routine where it's effortless. I've been doing this for many years, so at this point, it's not a conscious decision that, oh man, I got to wake up and eat healthy, or man, I better have my shake and my bowl of oats. I mean, it's routine at this point. To kind of, I guess, offset the busy lifestyle we all live. Everyone has, if you don't have kids, you got something else going on where it's school and work and whatever the case might be. The food prep services like malnutrition really make a huge difference. I'll just kind of merge a few of these together. Like number 6, making healthy snacks convenient. What I mean by that is not having a bunch of crap all over your house where you're going to the store and filling up your pantry with Doritos and, whatever. By doing the meal prep services, by doing the Quest bars, by doing the level 1 shakes, all those things, when you're in a pinch, you want food now. Like, you're hungry. No one wants to sit there and cook for an hour and then, just to get something healthy in their stomach. So surround yourself, keep your food stocked, healthy food options rather than a bunch of crap. We can go on down this list real quick. Let me go back one. Making the weekly goals too, just little targets to keep you motivated. That's not to say to reduce your goals. Keep them big. Your goals should always scare you, but also keep little sub goals that you can achieve each week to keep you motivated. All right, so let's pause for a second, and we're gonna show this slide for a little bit here and just introduce Mike and Gordon, and then I want you guys to be able to interact with them. So I have a couple of questions that we got sent in that I'd like to run over with them. So Mike Watson, CEO of Malnutrition, you missed it earlier, and we have Gordon Koopman, good friend of mine, national FPC men's physique competitor. We won overall at Rockford, I think, last fall, right, Gordon? Still there, Gordon?
Can't hear Gordon.
Uh-oh. We might have lost Gordon's mic. So, Gordon, play around with your microphone settings and just kind of chime in whenever you think you got that working. So, we're going to start with Mike here. So let me go back to the thing you guys can see us.
Hey, Bob.
Go.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Gordon.
All right, I just had to turn my microphone on.
Yeah.
Would you like me to start, or do you want Mike to start?
Let's get Mike going, because I know he's got some deliveries and orders to fill, mine included, because I'm hungry. I think I hear legs in. All right, so let's start with Mike. It's been what? About a year since me and you shared a camera here, huh?
Yeah, about a year, definitely. Yeah, about a year.
I think I look better this year. I think Mike looks a little better.
I got more hits. I got more hits that time, but no. The shirt off, I do more hits. I'm sorry.
But what major accomplishment we will point out, last year we were at the Olympia, spectators, kind of, both of our personalities. One of the men's physique guys, a good friend of mine, that I coached, Brandon, was there with us, and we made a statement before we left that we would not come back unless it was at me on the stage this year. So we did accomplish that. Malnutrition has an official Olympian.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You work, you do all the stuff. Thank you.
There you go. I do all the eating. So let's go through one of the first questions that we get most commonly. I guess can you tell our viewers a little bit about how the food is prepared? Do we use any sodium and seasonings, any oils? That's what most people in our industry are most concerned with.
Our nutrition, all of our products are actually cooked using the most simple way to maintain all the nutrients in the product. We don't add anything to it. We don't add oils. We don't add salt. We don't add seasonings. There's nothing added to it. It's actually strictly the way it comes out of the from our processes. We bring it straight to the consumer. We do a little bit of touching as much as possible, handling the product to strictly to trim it, immediately cook it, and that's all you get directly from there. From that point, it's all portioned out individually after it's cooked, so you get the exact weight that's actually needed. From that point, we flash freeze it, so it's actually back in sealed for freshness, and put into a container, and then we ship right to your door with FedEx. So when you wear FedEx clothes, you go.
Awesome. And I can personally vouch for that for the past year. I mean, I've been in a pinch a few times because where I work as an engineer on my day job, a lot of times I get sent out with no notice. I mean, it'll be on 2 days' notice, and it's like, you know, shit, I'm a month out from Mr. Olympia, and I get sent to Albuquerque for a week. And it's like, dude, what am I going to do for food? You know, I'm on prep. I can't. It's got to be on point. So, you know, I give Mike a call and ship it right to the hotel. I check in the hotel, and my food's there. So, speaking of which, I guess the second most popular question we get is about shipping. What are our options? How long does it take? And basically, what's our range? You know, are we limited to this area?
No, actually, like I said, I go anywhere FedEx goes. So basic cost, your cheapest form of shipping is going to be FedEx on delivery, depending on your region, anywhere. If you're local to the Midwest, anywhere from 2 to 2 days. You go to out further west you go, it's 4 days for California. If you want to expedite the shipping, you have to pay extra charge for the FedEx 2 days, the express saver. So benefit is as our orders increase, our shipping costs go down, which then goes to the consumer, they save more money. So the more customers I seem to get, the cheaper shipping becomes for everybody across the board.
All right. So I guess looking at the schedule coming up, if you go to any of the shows in the Midwest, you're more than familiar with MWA. I'm sure you've seen us at shows at some point in time. What do you have scheduled for the rest of the year coming up?
For the rest of the year right now, MWA's pretty local. We just finished up the Indianapolis Expo. MWA, this was the first year that MWA actually entered out of the state of Illinois, Wisconsin. We went to Minnesota, Michigan. We had invitations to hit Georgia and several other states, and Ohio as well too. So that's going to be on the horizon for 2016. But right now, we're hitting the Badger, Wisconsin, hitting the Grand Prix in Rockford, Illinois, and we're hitting the Pride in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Thank goodness it's 15 minutes from my house, so it's next trip for a change. We're also hitting the Ironman in Chicago as well. And after that, Miles on a little great vacation for hopefully till next season. So Andre, who makes me work constantly, aside from that, I'm pretty good. Gotta be mature on this time.
All right. Well, I guess we'll leave the MWA segment with this. Looking down the road, future, as we continue to grow, do you see more opportunities if people are interested in joining the MWA team, whether it be helping out at teams, looking at some sort of athlete ambassadorship? Do you see that kind of thing on the horizon for next year?
Most definitely. We're actually getting data with the Instagram, the Facebook, the emails, asking for more athletes. We're definitely looking for more athletes. One thing I can say, which I pride myself on from my nutrition, is that we like athletes that have actually sampled our products and tried them. Andre doesn't have a name, and we said, hey, have our products, here you go. Andre tried them first. He liked them and endorsed them on nutrition across the board. So all of our athletes are like, if you want to when part of MWA, I would say, order a few times. See if you like the product. If you like the product, let's talk from that point on. We like people that can speak directly about our products and are willing to do they enjoy the products, not just strictly to get a sponsorship or anything like that.
Right, because it sounds good putting it in your Instagram profile, sponsored athlete, right?
Exactly. Sounds great, but for us, we like people that stand behind us wholeheartedly. to enjoy the product.
Right. I mean, what it comes down to is one, we help each other out. Two, it's not just about food. It's not just about competing. You know, there's a entrepreneurship type of sense that you have to have when you carry yourself and you know, co-brand yourself with a company. So just keep that in mind. And then, you know, if you want to contact Mike, you can either go to www.mwatsoninc.com or you can shoot him an email at mwatson@mwatsoninc.com. So, Mike, I know you got stuff to do. You're welcome to stay or
That's the ground.
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt his
Good.
schedule. I mean, he might charge me double next time. So, Nicole, do you want to go ahead and add anything? Is there anything? I don't know if you got to finish all your stuff on recipes. My slide was acting up there for a second. So, is there anything you want to add before we move on to Gordon and Justin here?
I guess if you are looking for any ideas to kind of spice up your meal prep, I'm super creative, and you can email me at Nicole, KNEECOLE 1987 @gmail.com, or I'm trying to frequently post at least one new recipe a week on the Fit for Each Other blog, which is www.fitforeachother.com/blog. And I'm trying to give other people ideas of how to make things interesting. The last thing I want to add is the maw turkey is the bomb.com.
I'll agree. Kudos.
Seriously, it's addicting.
Well, Nicole, just so you know, I've added the next week the 1% ground turkey.
That's right.
So I don't know if you tried it yet.
Yep.
So that's coming up. So, and I will say Nicole's recipes have made my products better because she does a great job in adding her own twist to it, and definitely check her out. Because, like Andre would tell you, eat the same thing no matter how good people like my products. You get tired of the same old thing. And Nicole has done a great job in terms of transition and improving the product as well. So definitely working with Nicole in the recipe idea.
I think I could be your assistant, Chef Mike, right?
This is open. Come on down. Dry, but come on down.
First, you got to stock me up with pancakes, though. Jeez. Don't forget, guys, you can follow Nicole on YouTube also, and I'm sure she'll be posting away there. So this is just the beginning. Did have a question come in real quick before I introduce our future guest and turn the floor over to him, because I know he's got some stuff to present. So real quick for Justin, what was one of the biggest challenges, if any, that you had to overcome during your first prep? Was there anything unexpected, you know, that you didn't foresee coming, or was it just the normal, you know, busy schedule, trying to manage your workouts, meals, and so on?
I've had friends who competed, obviously, and this is obviously my first show. I would say probably the thing that really just threw me, not really off guard, but what I didn't expect was how hard it really is. It is a tasking, mentally, physically, emotionally tasking sport. There is a lot to prep, and it really becomes almost overtaking your mind. You constantly are just thinking, what's your next meal? What's your next workout? How are you going to fit in your day? And when you're juggling a job, school, and your workouts and your prep life, I mean, you really got to come home from work. You got to cook your 6 pounds of chicken. You got to prep for your whole next day so that you have everything on a time schedule. So I think probably one of the hardest things was just scheduling out your day and learning how to do that, which I've been pretty good with. I ordered a whole bunch of Tupperware off Amazon. I prep all my meals at night, and then I take my gym bag with me everywhere and eat those throughout the day.
Yep.
So I think that's probably one of the hardest things that I didn't expect, was how tasking it is, but it's fun. It's definitely rewarding, and you got to have fun with it. Definitely with recipes and keeping your taste buds guessing all the time. So
yeah, So yeah, definitely, I can agree more. I'll just throw my 2 cents in on mine. Mine's a quick and easy one. Nicole already knows probably what I'm going to say here. Is it ain't the food, it ain't the training, it's having two girls and being a dad and having to go pee like every 20 minutes. And I'm like, what do I do with my kids? Like, they're two girls. I can't take them in the bath. What am I going to do? Have them stand by the men's bathroom? So it's like, that's the most annoying thing in the world. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole other story. But let's move on to our featured guest number 2. We have Gordon Koopman with us. Gordon, how you doing over there, man?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna play a trick on you, say no, but
So I'd panic and we'd have like 5 minutes of a nonsensical technical difficulty.
there you go. So Gordon, why don't you give him just a quick background? I know I couldn't hear you. You could probably hear me earlier when I introduced you. I think your last couple of shows, you had a couple national shows, and the overall win at Rockford. So just give him a quick background on who you are and competition history and what you do outside the gym.
Okay, so for competing history, it's pretty short. Only 3 shows, and I'm prepping for the same one that Nicole's getting ready for, Miami, November 20th. We'll probably be hanging out backstage. But a good piece of advice that, again, was shared to me by Andre at Rockford before I even won the show was, whether win or lose, you want to set big goals. You always want to move forward. So my last show, most recent, was Nationals in Chicago, and I placed 16th. But the first question you sent me, what was my biggest achievement on stage? That show. Placing 16th was my biggest achievement. And then having the courage to immediately get ready for another show. Not letting that 16th placing deter me from getting back on stage again, because that's what happened to me previously with my first 2 local shows. But yeah, I placed first, but I was really down on myself because I didn't win the overall. And it took me a whole year to get back into, I guess, the systematic prep life for another show. And then I did Nationals in Chicago, and again, I just blew it up in my head. I was a little nervous, but now it's Miami. It's on to the next thing. You immediately get back up on your feet after you get knocked down, and you keep moving forward. So that is probably my biggest so far, because there's plenty of stuff to come. But my biggest achievement, I think, on stage was just being humbled. I think it was like instantaneous in that moment. Like when I was in first, second, third call outs, I was like, okay, what am I going to do next time?
And we've all been there at some point, so I can relate to you. I've even been there.
That was like the first thought in my head. And then I think off stage, my biggest achievement, at least recently, has kind of been developing more of a self-awareness of myself, kind of like my weaknesses. I mean, I'm always trying to push the bounds of personal growth, and like I asked a lot of my Facebook friends to kind of judge me, and obviously you have a lot of people that are just going to say positive stuff, and I wasn't looking for the positive stuff, I was looking for the negative. So the biggest one for me was I have an insecurity with the value of my self-worth. But then you step back, and the amount of value you add to everybody by competing in your circle is huge, So just continuing to press forward and know that the great success doesn't come instantaneously. It's a day at a time.
Yeah, it's basically hard work done consistently over a long period of time. Real quick, Mike, turn that laptop towards this whiteboard. So you guys can see this. Summarize exactly what Gordon's saying in a nutshell. You put it out down here, right? This is home base. Dustin, this is you. So this is your first show. This is your first crack at that big job or whatever you're going through in life. And it's going to kind of look like a stock market, right? Might be your relationship, too. You're going to take some falls. Gordon, this would be your 16th place right here, right? But then you come back up, and you knock down again. Something happens here. Okay, this is let's say this is me right now. I think, look, yeah, I played 13th, right? That's my 13th place. But if you look at it, even though this feels like a low, you look at where you came from, and the progress, the trend line is the same, right? If I could draw an average line through all this and take an average of that, the trend line is the same. So as long as you're moving in that same direction, we don't really care about the little dips. We're always going to have that. That's called life, right? So that's just something cool I thought I'd share with you. Gordon, let's throw some more questions at you here. Let's go back to food-related stuff too. I guess, do you have a favorite recipe? What's been like that one staple that's kind of your lifesaver? Of like, dude, I've either got that sweet tooth or I'm craving that salty like piece of pizza, whatever it is. What is that for you?
So when it comes to show prep, I am pretty good at just staying pretty disciplined, just because that's one of my personality traits. But when it comes to like go-to meals or like a sweet tooth, again, sugar-free Jello, or even sometimes I just want to drink something sweet. So like just like half a sugar-free like Crystal Light packet or a little bit of like amino acids. Because when you are just drinking water all the time, that's what gets boring for me, is just drinking water. So have sometimes, especially low carb day when you're craving the sweets, drinking something a little sweet before bed keeps you from, blowing up and, grabbing the Snickers bar that somebody brought home and left on the counter. Or, especially right now being Halloween, everyone has huge bags of candy in their house, so you walk past it every day, and then just like Nicole, you have all said, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be surrounded by it. So that, to me, for sweets are kind of my go-to things, those two right there. But for when I'm in a pinch, I always have my tub of level 1 protein in my bag, just because life does happen.
Let me guess the flavor, and I might be wrong. Ice cream sandwich.
Nope.
Damn, he's an oddball.
I do the Reese's peanut butter cup. That's my favorite there.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time I'm pretty good at having meals prepped. I mean, when I was in school, I had all my books, and then I think like 4 or 5 Tupperware containers. And I actually enjoyed as the day went on because my backpack got lighter.
Yeah. All right. So one of the last things I'd like you to hit home on is, so if you guys don't know, Gordon is also, as well as Nicole, are also part of the Bookworm team, Legion of Boom. So they're very familiar with post-workout nutrition. We touched on this in episode 1, and Legion of Boom in the house. I'm not going to go through the whole thing other than the fact that you're going to need a fast digesting whey protein, perfectly hydrolyzed. That would be our Formula 1. You're going to need a fast digesting carbohydrate. So some people that's cargo, some people that's picks and sticks. We like to stick to, actual science, things that have been proven over time. So ignition, which is dextrohydroglucose crystals. That's what we use. Everyone knows that by now. What I'd like to talk about beyond that. So if we have that post-workout shake, whatever you guys are doing out there, when do you eat that next whole food meal, and what do you prefer to eat?
So typically when it comes to my routine, I do try to work out in the morning, because the way I diet, I eat more of my carbs, or my higher carb meals in the morning. So if I work out in the morning, I'm going to get a good balanced meal of protein, carbs, fats. But typically when I take it, if you're taking 100% hydrolyzed protein and monosaccharide carbohydrate, those things aren't going to satisfy you when it comes to fullness. So at least personally myself, when I take that shake, an hour after I take that shake, I feel hungry. And when I feel hungry, that's when I'm going to take my next meal, because that's your body telling you you need nutrition. So basically the benefit of taking that post-workout shake is because it's rapid assimilating. And the reason you get hungry so fast after you take it is because your body has assimilated and digested it so quick that you're already hungry again. So that's why my second, third meals, my second is typically Greek yogurt and some granola. And then my third meal is going to be 8 ounces of chicken, good portion of veggies, and then an 8-ounce sweet potato. So again, you're going to get a good palm-size amount of protein, fistful size of vegetables, and a fist-size portion of complex carbs.
All right, so I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll try to. So Gordon's timing here, if you look at it, Gordon, what time do you usually work out?
Typically, right now with my schedule, it's a little bit later, so it's not how I prefer it, but I usually work out now at about 12 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yeah, and then I finish around 2, take my shake, it's an hour commute home, and then my next meal will be, now with my schedule, it's 3 hard-boiled eggs, 1 spoon of olive oil, and 2 slices of Ezekiel bread and some red peppers. So I make like an egg salad sandwich.
And this is gonna vary slightly, you know, depending on what time you work out. If you're in your off season, obviously we're gonna be using a lot more, you know, things like ignition to try and correct some of our weak points in the off season. As we get really, really close to a show, if you tend to hold, that's where I'd say you probably shift some of those carbs pre-workout, especially when you're getting really, really close to a show. So we'll just take Gordon's scenario here. So what do you normally eat for that we'll call it pre-training meal, about an hour and a half before you eat? Do you have like a carbohydrate and a protein typically?
I typically eat 2 hours to an hour and a half before training, and that meal is either going to be my third meal, which is the chicken breast, sweet potato, and broccoli, or it's going to be a cup of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt because you don't want the sugars, and then a half a cup of granola.
Okay, so we'll just take like a quick window out of his time frame. So we'll say about somewhere around 10:30, if he has that meal with the carbohydrate and the protein, that's going to spike him above this line. This is a little tool that we like to use at First Form, by the way. So above that line is anabolic, that means you're in a building state. And below the line is catabolic, that means your body's starting to use muscle tissue as energy. So he eats here around 10 o'clock. By the time he's getting to his workout, his body's just about out of fuel, right? And for sure, you know, 15, 20 minutes into his workout, if it's high intensity training, you're burning a lot of glucose, you're burning ATP first. Then you're going to start tapping into the body fat after that, depending on your heart zone. So you're going to start to dip down here until his workout's just about done and he has that post-workout shake. It's going to spike him up, right? That's his fast digesting carbs and protein, and that's why we have a fast one, because you don't want to spend this time here is all burning tissue, right? You don't want to spend too much time there. We want to just start burning the body fat and then spike it back up. So, spike it back up, what I said is, this assimilates very fast. So, if we had a whole meal here, it wouldn't spike until somewhere around here, and then it would sustain him a little bit longer. But since he had a fast digesting meal, shake, he's going to be hungry here about an hour later, right? So that's when he would have that next meal. So understanding this is something we can help you guys with, understanding when to eat, how much to eat, how fast is my food digesting. And if you just listen to the subtle messages, your body will tell you. I mean, if you're hungry, just what he said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know when you're hungry. Now, if you're just eating because you like to eat, that's a different story. But every 2.5 to 3 hours, typically, you're going to have a protein. If you have a lot of muscle mass, you probably want to always pair that carbohydrate with protein until it gets later on in the day before bedtime, right? And have a couple of vegetables with pretty much every meal. Gordon, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that? Otherwise, we'll probably throw a couple questions at Justin and Nicole and call it a night.
I mean, we kind of already went over a protein recipe, but I kind of have my own variation of it. And this is one I give a lot of my clients because when they're getting ready for work in the morning, they're on the go. So In the morning, it's a shake. I do the same thing as Nicole mentioned. I grind up the oatmeal into a powder, but I don't do it all at a time. I have a Ninja bullet, so I do a half cup of oatmeal and grind that up first, then add a banana, and then I do, again, based on my macros, I do 10 ounces of egg whites. Then I add cinnamon to taste. So when I'm on the run, I just drink that as it is. But if I do have time to be leisurely Sunday morning and watch cartoons or whatever, I'll take out about 2 ounces of the egg whites and I'll add 2 eggs to add up to the thickness and the consistency, and then I just pour it in a pan as a banana pancake batter. Yeah, that's probably another one of my go-to things that I enjoy doing, and then I'll put peanut butter on it because peanut butter and pancakes is probably the best they'd ever put on the planet.
One of God's greatest gifts, right? So for our followers that are listening in, I'll let you go ahead and put your email out there just to make sure, since we know you have like 10,000 emails when we were trying to invite you. So why don't you give our viewers your email in case they need to contact you?
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 emails, but the one I use for training advice and consultations is Gordon, my first name, st.rong3@gmail.com, and that's the number 3 and the word.
Right. Perfect. All right, let's just about wrap this up. I'm going to ask one question to Nicole and Justin. Nicole, we're going to start with you. So, heading into the biggest show of your life, you guys are familiar with it. Nicole's basically gone over, 7 or 8 shows now, somewhere around there. And I can't see, I see one hand and a couple more. 9? Am I saying 9? 9 shows and counting. Well, so nationals probably B9, right? Okay. So, 9 shows under her belt. I think her last one definitely, she finally made some noise on the national stage. She was actually the 3rd name called to the stage. And one of her actual strongest points, during the comparison rounds, things got a little shaky, and she ended up at the top of the 2nd call-outs, which we ain't done yet because we know where she should be. We know her potential, and she's going to redeem herself at nationals. So, that being said, Nicole, I've been a huge part of this, obviously, I know. Why don't you tell our viewers what can they expect from you at nationals, and B, what major improvements do you feel you've made since junior nationals in Chicago?
As far as what you can expect from nationals, I'm going pro, baby. I am going all in 150%. I am focused. Justin kind of touched on it, that prep, when you are preparing for something that you really want, you're almost every moment of every day you are thinking about the goal. You're thinking about the end result. So I'm going all in, baby. I expect to be in that first call out, and I visualize myself on the center of the stage. As far as what I've worked on, physique-wise, I think that I am bringing close to what I brought at juniors. I think at juniors I was spot on, but there's that 1%. So I'm bringing that 1%. I'm going to be a little bit more conditioned, so you might see a little bit more ab definition, a little bit leaner legs, just by 1%. But what I've been working on most is posing, especially what I personally been doing. When I practice now, I've been holding those poses for longer. And I am throwing in a brand new stinky pose. You really have to have self-awareness, and then maybe you're practicing constantly your strongest pose. So you're practicing it. Well, that pose might look awesome if you're standing this side of the stage or if you're in the middle, but what happens if they throw that X factor in and throw you on this other side? So what I've done is I have eliminated any weak points at all, and I'm including all factors, and I'm going all in. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. I think there's been a little bit of extra motivation we want to share with you guys, but Nicole knows exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a little fuel behind that fire. We'll let the results speak on stage, but I think also just hitting home on something Ford said earlier about being able to look at yourself in the mirror honestly. Most people take videos, sit there and like compliment themselves and post that shit on Instagram all day, which is cool. But when you take videos, the main focus should be on analyzing your weak points, right? That's the purpose of your video. It's not to sit there and admire yourself. So keep that in mind, guys. I don't care if you're just losing weight and doing transformation pictures or if you're dialing in for a show. Use all those pictures and those videos as motivation to get better, not to admire yourself. So, and Justin, if you want to leave our followers with what they can expect in, what are we at, about 5 days, a little over 5 days out? What
5
did you
days.
see from Justin 5 days out? I guess, what do you feel is your strongest point coming in, man? What have you really made leaps and bounds on?
Physically, I would say as far as physique-wise, I during my whole prep with you, I've worked hard on my lats. I've always been a weak point, and then even meeting with you a couple weeks ago, they still are my weak point, but definitely need to get wider. But it's probably one of the biggest body parts that I've made leaps and bounds on. What to expect from me for the show? This is my first one. It's gonna be fun.
There's something juicy here. You got to leave us with something juicy, like, man, I learned from.
I'm coming in,
and I'm gonna bring this,
No, I'm
up to the stage.
No, I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually very confident in this show. I'm glad that I had you around, the team around. I would not be where I am today without like the support of a coach and everything. So I definitely thank you to that. But I mean, I'm coming in ready. I've been putting in the hours, putting in the work, and I expect good things for my first show. It's going to be good. I'm excited. Put it that way. That's probably what I would just say. Because I haven't competed before, how Nicole's talking about being able to have all those little kinks out from left stage, right stage, center stage. I'm not sure what to expect for that yet, so I'm practicing what I can at this point and getting critiques.
Raising up a little bit, Justin. Is he fading out for you guys right now?
Yeah.
And
you're fading in and out, Jay.
Pretty good.
Basically, guys, I'm proud of everyone on this call. Justin, I expect nothing but good things from you, man. I know because I've been working with you. I've been seeing the progress day by day. So I'm excited for you, and I'll be there to witness you, Quinn, and Vanessa. You guys are watching. You guys are bringing the boom. We're proud of you. See you in a couple days. So, yeah, we'll follow up with a recap on some of these recipes, guys. I see some of the emails coming in. Angie, we got yours. I know it was a little hard to hear us in the beginning, so we'll highlight some of the important things that you guys need to know. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in and joining on the call. Thank you, Mike, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I still got to hit legs. So it's at least high carb day, but I will talk to you guys later. So signing off. Thursday. Don't forget Thursday. We got the Perico Legacy cast on. So anyone on this call, share that with your followers. Got Chris Mins, Bojana. So everyone tune in. Hopefully Lou Perico Jr. will be on too. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.